What is up, YouTube and Summoners? Trinity here again. I'll be giving you a wonderful deck profile for Battle Spirit Saga. This game is not as good as Bandai had promised us. I do enjoy the game, and I do have fun playing it. I think it has some of the best mechanics a card game can have. It has a good mulligan system, a fun life system. We have interaction. You have, I think the mana system in the game with the cores is really fun and interesting, and overall, it's really fun to play, but how Bandai markets this game has just been a complete dumpster fire. And after set 6, I'm not going to be surprised if this game does die. It hasn't felt good since set 1. And even set 1 has been bad. If you look at booster boxes, you can find a set 1 to 3 for $15 or less on eBay and TCG. Set 4 is about normal market price. They have an Ava set, and then they have set 5 is completely bought out and impossible to find. My friend has been getting some for eBay because he got an invite to the Pro Tour. He took me to the event, and I went 1 and 3. I did okay, but the double symbol math really threw me off since I hadn't played since set 1. And I was learning new cards. And kind of, since this game is a game of interaction, I was caught off surprised by new burst and flash cards. And I did okay overall, but I learned a lot. And coming from that event, I didn't have any set 5 cards, but when he got the boxes, I worked the deal out, and I was able to build this deck. And this deck has gone really good in testing and has gone undefeated. And I put a lot of my game knowledge back into the game. Building this deck has been a lot of fun. Got me back into the game, and I've been enjoying testing with him for set 5 for Pro Tour. So with that being said, we'll get on to deck profile. Also, I scored this mat for $15 at a locals who doesn't carry Bandai products anymore, and they want to get rid of it. So it'll have a special place in my heart, even if the game does eventually die. And maybe I'll just play the JP IP again. Or not really again, but maybe I'll start playing it on Vassal. We'll start off with the boss card of the deck. We play 3 copies of Water Worm Castilla Dragon. Level 1 has 5,000. Level 2 it has 8,000. And then level 3 it has 11,000 power. And then it has the effect of, let me take it real quick. I'll read this one. You can, when summoned, you may discard a card. Select any number of Nexus cards from your drop zone. They cost 6 or fewer, and play them without paying their cost. So you can basically pay like 2 to 3 Nexus off this, depending on what cost your Nexus is. And then when it attacks you, opponent's spirit, that costs 3 or fewer, and destroy it. So you can blow up a low-cost spirit. And then level 3 effect, which is my favorite effect. This is how you win games. It is not a once per turn. You may destroy one of your Nexuses to refresh the spirit. So if you have a board full of Nexuses and it's level 3, you can keep swinging with this over and over and over again. And it also has a reduction symbol of red and blue, so it counts as one of either. Only one of them though. And it can currently cost you 2 if you have a board of red and it has 2 red reductions and 2 blue reductions. So if you have 2 reds on your board and 2 blues, it only costs you 2 to play. And minimum, it's going to cost you 4 most of the time. So yeah, that's it for that. I could run one more, but again, set 5 is really hard to get a hold of. And I think 3 is just perfect for the deck. I think 3 is just fine. Next, I run 2 copies of the starter deck card, Andromeda Drag. Just a really good confront. Nexus removal card, red body. It's a 3 cost to play with 3 red reductions. Just a really good card to remove Nexuses. And again, it has, one of our series has a send for 6. Or 4, I believe. 4 more. So, yeah. That's just a really good card to have for us. Play 1 copy of my favorite extra. That won me a game last night when I was playing against my friend's new white-green aggro deck. I taxed him with one of my Nexuses, and he paid his Soul Core. And I think he bounced this earlier in turn 1, or like earlier in the game, and he forgot it. Because he was being rushed because he had to go home soon by his other friend who was going to drive home to work for night shift. But he bounced this to my hand, got rid of his Soul Core. He had a whole board of like 6 spirits, and I played this, nuked the entire board, and I didn't put a Soul Core on it, I just nuked him. Because the other spirit I had was just way better. So yeah, this card is just a nice one-of. I love it. Another fun one-of is Mermaid Princess. On play, lets you play Nexus. Just a really good card. Just have the one, just kind of filling up the slot. It's really good. Next, we play 2 more red spirits. We play my Saga Rare, Sigworm, and the one of Era. This thing is limited to 1 after the ban list. And I had 4 copies, and I had Star Dragons, and I just figured I just mantle the Star Dragons, put this thing into this deck, it'll steal me some games. And yeah, and then Supernova, just for the one of this, if I can get his effect alone is good, but if I can ascend onto Era and heal 5. That's nice. It comes up sometimes. It's pretty fun. You go through this deck really quickly. Next, I do want to pick up 2 more old arts of this because I really like the artwork. But this is how I won the game last night. My friend could not ice wall. It is ascend 4 more, and then basically it's double symbol. It has 6 reductions, 3 red, 3 blue. I brought this out for 2 costs last night, and it's 8 costs, but minimum with the reductions it's 5, or technically it can be 2 cost. And then level 3 effect, it can basically, let me take one of them, just to double check it because it's hard to read upside down. You win this card, discard it from your hand. It's like one of your spirits, 2 or more colors, and you can ramp. So when you discard this card, you can ramp a bit. And then it ascends, and then when the spirit attacks, they must pay 3 or more additional cores if they're trying to flash. So my friend couldn't ice wall because I kept taxing him with the next card, which is a card that I added to the deck just to stall out so I can get into those cards. Which I forgot to have exactly 1 foil of this. We have 4 copies of Warhammer Gordon. You combine this with one of my Nexuses. It's really hard to deal with. You don't really run it for the crush. You run it for its level 2 effect, which is if your opponent wants to attack with a 3 cost or fewer, they have to pay a core. So you have 2 of these and Unchained Arena on their field, and they're trying to attack with a 3 cost or less, so they're paying 3. And my friend plays white aggro, so it can be really annoying to deal with. Plus, again, we need a spirit with 4 costs or more to ascend, and this just felt like the best target, at least to me. Then we have our new girl, and the one I got from the promo pack at the event. You may pay a soul card for a summon if you do destroy a Nexus, and if you do draw 2 cards. You can blow up your Nexuses because you can play them back with your guy over there, and one of our Nexuses actually replays itself for 1 core. So by paying a soul core, playing her to the field for 2 reductions, you can draw 2 cards, so you can dig to your deck faster. Another one, this card can cost 1. It also has a double reduction symbol. That one's only blue. This one is on attack, draw a card, discard a card. Red reduction, blue reduction, so it can technically cost 1 and put a core on it. Really good card. Not as good as the other girl, I believe, but I think it's fine. Next, we'll move on to our spells. I run 2 copies of Solo or a Poseidon Crush. Just really good. Chain red. Let me double check the wording because I barely ever get to use this card. I most often discard it because it can be it's 7 cost. It technically can be cheaper, but it doesn't come up too much. I'd normally sideboard it out. I'm still redoing my sideboard, so I will not include that in the video. So like one of your opponent's spirits that costs the least and destroy it. So they only have 1 big spirit, you blow it up. Then chain red. If you have a red symbol on your field, you can blow up a Nexus that costs 3 or fewer. So it can be really, really huge in the right time. Next, I run 1 copy of Floodstream. Just really good burst and really good effect. Basically, and select any number of spirits that cost 5 or fewer and destroy them. Can be good against token decks. I want to sideboard 1 more copy for that. Still debating my sideboard for this deck. 2 copies of Raging Tide. Really good generic blue card. The best generic blue card is Graceful Charity. Strong Draw. It can technically cost 1 core with 2 reductions, so it costs 3. And it's draw 3 cards, pitch 2 cards, so you pitch your Nexuses to play them back later. We play 3 copies of Ancient Draw, since we run a lot of Ascend spirits. I actually debate running the Ava card that has Ascend, but I've kind of decided against it for now, at least. Basically, this card is draw 2, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, if any, and then add all cards with Ascend to your hand. And then a flash, you get 5k BP. So it'd be pretty good to flash this as well. Make your guy bigger. It doesn't come up too much. I find that, in fact, doesn't come up that much. But it can. Next, we run 2 copies of this. I kind of want to sideboard 1 more. Ironically, this is supposed to be the Ava in the deck list, but I've liked this card way more, especially with all the double symbols running around. Choose a spirit, and you can't be dealt damage by that spirit. And then Burst is... you just bounce a Nexus, and then you can activate the flash effect. But it's still pretty good. Then we run the 3 original Ice Wall. Just the best defensive spell in the game. You can end the attack phase. Next, we'll move on to my Nexuses. We run, this is limited to 1 now. We run 1 Volcanic Canyon. And I run, which is basically at the start of your turn, draw an additional card and pitch a card. It's really good for this deck. 1 Impaler Forest for the combo, which I will mention later. Just a really good generic purple Nexus. 2 copies of, we'll put those aside. Those are the 2 of the Nexuses I run. We run 2 copies of Sea Hell Lighthouse. If they don't control a spirit of the same color, they can't use spells. Then level 2 effect is all my spirits get bigger. That level 3. So it somewhat comes up, but the first effect is why I run it. It's also 3 costs, so if you have two of this, if you just want to play that back in the next Nexus, you can do that. Play the most important card in the deck, in my opinion, is Unchained Area. When it's destroyed, you ramp, and remember how the X rare can ramp from the void? When it destroys Nexus, it keeps swinging. So you destroy this, you get a core, and then you unsuspend it, swing again, destroy this, get a core, and that stacks up. And this also you can combo this card as well with Gordon to make aggro decks just not able to attack you. For 2 cores, they have to pay a core for 2 cores. So like really early game, I still on these 2 most of the time until I draw into my strong draws and get my deck flowing. Then the final card of the deck, and I'll talk about this card in just 1 second. But again, you want to destroy that card and just keep ramping. And then the final Nexus is 3 copies of Volcanic Isle. This card is just a beautiful artwork. It has Seagworm on it, I believe, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I really love set 5. It has double reduction symbol, so it's easier to summon our big guys. And it's when destroyed, you can play a core to bring this card back. So remember how I said this is not once per turn. So when you swing with this, you can blow up that isle, get the core. You blow up the last Nexus to get a core, because when it's destroyed, you get a core. He unsuspends. He attacks again. You blow up this. You pay the core that you just got for this to bring this back. You swing with it again to blow this up, pay the core, bring it back. And if you just have a board of Nexus, this thing can just keep swinging, and swinging. If they don't have a way to stop it, like, I mean, sometimes they are going to have this, but even then, like, it's fine because you just do it again later. And, like, you don't have to keep going. But if they don't have a way to stop it, that is lethal. And just off one thing. And even they're not always going to have a way to stop it if you have the other guy on the board that reduces their thing. And you have Ear Red. Just have so much removal. Another fun combo is I saw a deck profile running this on the Battle Spirit site. And I got to reread this card. Yeah, so this guy blows up a level 3 or lower. If you have this thing on your field, when you destroy your opponent's spirits, select one of their spirits and remove a core from it and place it to reserve. So if this thing blows something up and they have, like, you blow up their little guy and they only just barely brought out their boss. They didn't, like, plan into this because it's a one of. You can remove the 1 core off their boss and kind of get rid of 2 and just keep swinging. So you can get rid of, defensively, you can get rid of 2 blockers. And that's, like, the best case scenario. There's more ways to do that. And remember, it doesn't restrict what Nexus you can play from the trash. So you can play this from the trash and this. As long as it's 6 costs in total, you can play 2 3s. You can play a 4 and a 2, a 5 and a 1. I don't believe there's any 2 or 1 cost Nexuses as it stands in this game. But as you can see how this can slowly, if you get your Nexus set up and your card going, you can see how this can snowball out of control. But that is it for this Battle Spirits deck. I really have enjoyed testing it, and it's currently an undefeated deck within my small friend group. Even the friend who is going to the Pro Tour has had a little trouble beating this, but he's still working out a set 5 list, and I feel like I've gotten the hang of this deck pretty good, and I've really enjoyed it. Again, there are some things I'd probably change. I do want to add a sideboard. I'm still working on the sideboard, trying to learn this set 5 meta. But that is it for this Battle Spirits deck. I hope you enjoyed, and if you haven't tried this game, it's definitely worth playing for fun, just for casual play. Again, you can pick up set 1, 2, and 3 boxes for $15. And I'd say with a structure is like $5. So if you really just want to play the game for fun, give it a test shot. I'd say for $20 you can get a good grasp on the game. And then, like, the Gex and singles are really cheap too. So if you want to try this game out, even if this game does die, I think it's definitely worth looking into and playing this game. It has some of the best mechanics I've seen in the card game. I feel like Bandai has really dropped the ball for this, considering this is their original IP, and in Japan, it's one of their biggest games. I feel like they were really failing this game in the West. I would not be surprised if after set 6 it disappeared. Maybe it recovers. It's looking like kind of a 50-50. I think set 5 is really good. I think the cards in it are really fun to play and really interactive. But I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Shout out to any Battle Spirits players out there. I do hope this game continues. I really do enjoy it. I'm happy I was able to pick this, convince my friend to give me these and talk a trade with him. Because he wanted to make this deck too. He wanted to hoard all the set 5 stuff. I'm like, if you want me to keep playing the game, we got to work something out here. Because I can't be fighting you with a deck that's 3 sets old now. I'm playing set 3 and you're Ava, set 4, set 5. I had like 1 set 4 deck. But I'm very happy I was able to convince him to get this deck. This deck has done really good in testing and I really love it. Shout out to all the Battle Spirits players out there. I do want to come up to New York and do more events soon. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed the deck profile. I'll catch you in the next one. I hope to do more Battle Spirits soon. Ciao.